Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Vishnu Paramahamsa Acharya A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivajacharya Ashtottara Shatashi Srimad Svayangai Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavavrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Sikho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu-Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gauda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Shyam Mukund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai New Govardhan Dham Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Well, how many was it? Well, I was going to read a song, actually. Maybe I could just do that now. Just so we could. Okay, so this is a song called Nam Sankirtan, and we sing part of it regularly during the kirtan, but it's in the songbook here. Yeah. So I thought we would just read it because we've been singing it regularly. So Hari Hadaya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshvaya Namaha. So it says, O Lord Hari, O Lord Krishna, O Yadava, I offer my obeisances to you again and again. Obeisances to Yadava, Madhava, and Keshava. So different names for Krishna. O Gopal, Govinda, Ram, Srimadhusudan, Giridhari, Gopinath, Madana Mohan. It's a pretty simple translation, right? No. Yeah, not much to translate. Well, Gopal, I guess we could translate the into English the different names. So Gopal is a name for Krishna, which means he who appears as a cowherd boy. He appears as a cowherd boy. Govinda means one who gives pleasure to the cows. Rama, the reservoir of pleasure. Sri Madhusudana, the magnificent killer of the demon named Madhu. Giridhari, the lifter of Govardhan Hill. Gopinath, the lord of the cowherd damsels, the gopis, lord of the gopis. Madana Mohan, the enchanter of Cupid. So, of course, we could give a class on each of these names, but we won't do that right now. And then next is Sri Chaitanya, Nityananda, Sri Advaita Sita, Hari Guru Vaishnava, Bhagavata Gita. All glories to Sri Chaitanya and Nityananda. All glories to Sri Advaitacharya and his consort, Sri Sita Thakurani. All glories to Lord Hari, to the spiritual master, the Vaishnavas, Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And then next, all glories to Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatana Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. I offer my obeisances to the feet of the 6 Goswamis. Bowing to them destroys all obstacles to devotional service and fulfills all spiritual desires. So that's a very important verse. Destroy all obstacles in devotional service and fulfills all spiritual desires. Echai Gosar Kodi Charana Vandan Yaha Hoite Vigna Nasha Abhishta Puran. I am the servant of that person who is the servant of these 6 Goswamis. The dust of their lotus feet is my 5 kinds of food stuff. The Echai Gosai, yeah. These Chaya 6, Gosai 6 Goswamis. What are the 5 types of food stuff? Sweet rice, pakora, sandesh, different. This is my desire, that birth after birth I may live with those devotees who serve the lotus feet of these 6 Goswamis. When the 6 Goswamis lived in Vraj, they revealed the lost holy places and explained the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Just shout the names of Lord Hari in great ecstasy and worship the transcendental realm of Vrindavan, while absorbing your mind in meditation upon the divine lotus feet of the spiritual master and the Vaishnavas. Desiring to serve the lotus feet of Sri Guru and Vaishnavas, Narottam Das sings this Sankirtan of the holy names of Lord Hari. Wonderful song. By Narottam Das Thakur. All right, Jai. Okay, so now we'll read the Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So this is Srimad Bhagavatam, 4th Canto, entitled Creation of the 4th Order, Chapter 22, Prithu Maharaj's meeting with the Kumaras, Text 20. Astyeva Rajan Bhavato Madhudvisha Padaravindasya Gunanuvandane Ratir durapa vidunoti naishtiki kamam kushayam malam antar atmanaha aste virajan bhavato madhushtusha Padaravindasya gunanuvandane Vadane Padaravindasya gunanuvadane Ratir durapa vidunoti naishtiki Kamam kashayam malam antar atmana Isi virajan bhavato madhudusha Padaravindasya gunanuvadane Ratir durapa vidunoti naishtiki Kamam kashayam malam antar atmana Okay, word by word. Guna unuvadane. Oh, okay, I'm skipping the page. Asti, there is. Eva, certainly. Rajan, O king. Bhavataha, your. Madhudvishaha, of the Lord. Pada aravindasya, the lotus feet. Gun anuvadane, in glorifying. Natihi, attachment. Durapa, very difficult. Vidunoti, washes. Naishtaki, unflinching. Kamam, lusty. Kashayam, the embellishment of lusty desire. Malam, dirty. Anta atmanaha, from the core of the heart. Sanat Kumar continued, my dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve. But when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart. Purport. Satam prasangan mama virya sambido bhavanti hrit karna rasayana kata tajjo shanat ashva pavarga varvani shadharatir bhaktir anukramishati. Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-25. By association with devotees, dirty things within the heart of a materialistic man are gradually washed away by the grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As silver becomes shiny by being polished, the heart of a materialistic person is cleansed of lusty desires by the good association of devotees. Actually, the living being has no connection with this material enjoyment, nor with lusty desires. He is simply imagining or dreaming while asleep, but by the association of pure devotees, he is awakened And immediately the spirit soul is situated in his own glory by understanding his constitutional position as the eternal servant of the Lord. Prithu Maharaj was already a self-realized soul. Therefore, he had a natural inclination to glorify the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Kumaras assured him that there was no chance of his falling victim to the illusory energy of the Supreme Lord. In other words, the process of hearing and chanting about the glories of the Lord is the only means to clarify the heart of material contamination. By the process of karma, jnana, and yoga, no one will succeed in driving away contamination from the heart. But once a person takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by devotional service, automatically all dirty things in the heart are removed without difficulty. Omikayatuvadandasya Karanjana Shavakaya Chakshulan Meditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Garirvachalam Pangam Langate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurun Dintarinam Pancha Kapdrivishta Kripa Sindhu Bievacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Translation again. Sanat Kumar continued, My dear king, you already have an inclination to glorify the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such attachment is very difficult to achieve, but when one has attained such unflinching faith in the Lord, it automatically cleanses lusty desires from the core of the heart. So the injunction in so many places, the very important injunction in so many places in Srimadbhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada states that, quoting scripture, that one should always associate with devotees as much as possible, and in this way one will make progress. So just like in Nectar of Instruction, that verse, has that verse start again? Utsaha nishchyadarya tat tat karma pavartanat sangat tyaga satovrite shadbir bhakti prasidati. I think I'm referring to the other one. Avoid association with devotees. Yeah, non-devotees. Excuse me. Atyahara priyasascha prajalpa niyamagraha janasanga jilalamcha shadbir bhakti vanashati. So, I said avoid association with devotees, but you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to associate with devotees, not avoid. So that's an important point, not to avoid. Because sometimes people, they get into this habit or into this mood or this mode of avoiding devotees. Oh, well, if I get too close to devotees, they're going to try to, correct me or tell me what to do. Or like I sent my mother a shirt recently. I made her a shirt also. I don't know if you knew that, but it's a pink shirt. She likes pink, and in dark pink letters and kind of funny, joking font. It says, "Don't tell me what to do." With the question mark. With the exclamation mark. So, because she has the experience, she's out. Maybe I said this before. I think I said this before. She's out and about, and she's at some place, and some officials saying, "Oh, here, you got to keep on moving, you can't wait here," because she was waiting for my sister who's using the bathroom or something. "You can't wait here, you have to move. My mother said, no, I'm waiting for my daughter, in other words, hey, back off, get lost. So eventually she'll tell people, "Hey, I'm adult, don't tell me what to do." So it's a little joke we have, so I made her a shirt. I'll send you a picture, Dravida Prabhu, of her wearing the shirt. Yeah, we made a shirt also, Dravida Prabhu's. Oh, we made a shirt. I made a shirt. Jamal and myself made a shirt. We didn't make it, but we went and they made it. But paid to get a shirt made, and it said, maybe you could say it, Javita. Well, maybe you have the mic, because if you say it, there's more potency because it's your words originally. So,
don't sin. You can't win. Love God, not the bod. Chant Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
They're taking orders, right? You can get one made if you want.
We're taking orders, yeah. Jamal has that shirt now. It's his possession. You like that, huh? All right. You have a fan there, Jamal. You should have wore it this morning. So, yeah, sometimes people get into this mode, this kind of, rut where it says, oh, I want to avoid association with devotees because, they'll tell me what to do, and or sometimes they get bitter that, I got burned out by association with devotees. But the fact is, there's so many devotees, and we should find those devotees who encourage us, inspire us. There are devotees out there like that. Believe it or not. You should believe it, but yeah. All right, thank you. So, but it's associating with devotees. There's a way to associate with devotees. It's not that, there's a certain, like we were talking the other day, there's a fine art how to associate with devotees. It's not that we, like one devotee, he says, for example, I'm trying to think of which example to pick, because I just thought of a few of them. But it's not like, okay, let's go get stoned, right? Let's go smoke, smoke out, smoke some ganja, right? One devotee tells another devotee that, hey, that's a good idea. Let's go do it, and that's like their devotee association. Now, of course, there's different types of devotees. There are some devotees who, have that problem and smoke and whatever. But I would say that if a person is in that situation, then they shouldn't accept that as like devotee association, like them smoking together or something. It means they should seek out more advanced association, people who will encourage them to not smoke, or to, positively utilize their energy. Just like there was this case where there was two devotees in a temple, and they're both feeling frustrated and angry about God knows what. And one of them thought, I'm going to leave. I'm leaving. They're like in the ashram, monks. I'm leaving, one of them thought. And then they spoke to another one who was in a similar mood. And he said, I'm thinking about leaving. And the other guy said, you know what, I'm thinking about leaving too. So they just both walk off, take off. So in that case, in so many cases, to associate with devotees means to associate, this specific injunction is try to associate with devotees who are more advanced than us. Yes. I think we need two mics here. Maybe you could get a... Well, there's some... I don't know who's watching. But I would... Sometimes devotees tell me they're watching when they see me in person, so I kind of have an idea who's watching, but I would like to fully know who's watching, so know who I'm talking to. But
on the note about fighting with the devotees, I used to always fight with this one nun, and we fought like cats and dogs. And my guru comes out one day, and she goes, "Why do you fight with the nun for? She's not even there." And I'm like, oh, busted.
all right, thank you. You can keep it on this side because we have two mics. Just, okay. Anyways. Thank you for that comment. Very enthusiastic comment. So, okay, yeah, I'm working on it. So yeah, to associate with devotees is extremely important. Why? Why is that? Because by associating with devotees, it says here, satam prasangam maviri samvado, that we make progress towards what? Towards our attachment to Krishna. And specifically, Srila Prabhupada points out here, we make progress in the dirty things within our hearts being removed by the grace of Krishna. But Srila Prabhupada is saying that we get the grace of Krishna by associating with devotees. It's not that one gets the grace of Krishna without associating with the devotees, one gets it by associating with devotees. Sometimes people try to seek out the mercy of God, the grace of Krishna without devotee association, but it's being stated here that by devotee association we get the grace of Krishna, and then and dirty things removed from the heart. So therefore we're singing every morning, Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasadad yasya prasadad nagati katopi dhyayan stuvam stasya yasya strisandam dvande guru shri charna arvindam. We're singing that, the last verse in the morning, first song of the day, that by the mercy by serving the spiritual master, one gets the mercy of Krishna. And by not serving the spiritual master, by displeasing the spiritual master, one can make no advancement. And it says, therefore I meditate on my spiritual master at least 3 times a day. I mean, we could meditate all day. And I offer my obeisances to him. So, but the guru, he's not alone. Means the guru has his entourage, means the devotees. So we serve both, the spiritual master and the devotees. And that's how we get the grace of Krishna. And if we really analyze it, I mean, so much of the mercy that is being distributed by the Hare Krishna movement, the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, who is it being distributed by? Being distributed by devotees. You could say that, okay, they're empowered by Srila Prabhupada, they're empowered by their guru, they're empowered by Krishna. That's true. But somebody has to be an instrument, you could say, instrument of mercy. So, just like so much prasadam distribution happens here at this temple, at the lounge, at the temple, like a lot of prasadam means cooking and distributing that type of prasadam. So how does that all happen? It's just like, the ingredients just magically show up, and there's some like, it just is all put together in some like a magic show or something. No, somebody is sweating and crying and I don't want to say having it taking on the difficulty of preparing that. And then the pujari, they go on the altar, right? They offer to Krishna. And in this way, there's a whole plan that is happening to distribute prasadam. So in other words, it has to be done by devotees. And then a bunch of people get the mercy of Krishna like that, right? So same with book distribution. It's not that the books are just like magically being printed and edited and printed and distributed and that means distributed on their own. Devotees are behind that. There's a whole BBT, Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and they, we have Trivita Prabhu and others. They're working on the books, editing, and then there's devotees who are painting the pictures, and then there's money being collected, and then they're being printed in China or wherever they're being printed, and then they're shipped to America, and then they're at the big warehouse, right? And then our very own Damodar Kumar Das Brahmachari, he drives up there and he picks up a bunch of books, right? And then they come to this temple, and then devotees go out and distribute them. And by that, people are getting mercy. People are getting Krishna's mercy in the form of transcendental knowledge. So in so many ways, prasadam book distribution. Harinam, there's instruments sitting there, mridanga and kartals and harmonium, but it's not that they're like alive or something. And I mean, say they are alive, they're Krishna's, right, instruments, but alive in the sense that this mridanga and harmonium and kartals are not going to walk off to Balboa Park, and start making musical sounds. It's not going to happen. Sorry to yeah, it's reality. So, in other words, like, so much of the mercy that's being distributed, practically all of it, is just, it has to be done by someone. So, as members of the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, we should think about that. And not only should we think about that, we should... Hey Glenn, good morning, Hare Krishna. Not only should we think about that, but we should plug in to it. We should plug into that. I should be an instrument myself. That we should be thinking like that. How am I an instrument, practically, for the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? In other words, we could learn how to play mridanga, learn how to play kartals, learn how to play harmonium, learn how to sing, and then do it. We could learn how to distribute books. What's that podcast now that Vaishesh Prabhu has? Sankirtan On. That's what it's called. It's a podcast called Sankirtan On. And apparently you click on that little app and there's all types of interviews, this, that, which explain book distribution, the importance of it, how to do it, why to do it. There's so many lectures, right, about book distribution. By Tamal Krishna Goswami, he has really good Sankirtan lectures, firing up the devotees. So we should subject our consciousness to such things. How to learn these instruments, how to learn how to do book distribution, how to learn how to cook nicely. I mean, that's very important. Prabhupada said, secret weapon of the Hare Krishna movement. So these are things that we could do, and we should do. So we should think about it, plan it, plug into it, and get fired up about it. And we will definitely, not only will we be giving mercy, but we'll be getting mercy, right? Because the more we give, the more we get. And there's so many wonderful examples of devotees. I mean, all devotees are wonderful and so many regards. I'm thinking of specifically some book distributors who have just been year after year, decade after decade, just not only distributing books, but just pumping out books. Just pumping out books. And that's what Prabhupada wanted, yeah. Like I'm thinking of L.A., like Brigupati Prabhu and Vijay Prabhu. They're just year after year, decade after decade. I mean, they're getting up there too in age, and they're still going. And yeah, you can imagine how pleased Krishna is with them. Brigupati Prabhu is actually distributing more books than he did before. So, yeah, at the university, he's really, yeah. So these are important things because it is the Sankirtan movement, which means it's a movement made of mercy, and it's a movement which is meant to distribute mercy. Means Krishna's compassion, Krishna's kindness to the souls. So yeah, by associating with devotees, we'll get the mercy, we'll make advancement, the dirty things within our heart will be cleansed. It's mentioning lust and all these other things will be cleansed. Lust means, material desire, and so many forms of material desire. It means desire which is against God consciousness, have nothing to do with God consciousness. So that's the process. We associate with devotees. The dirty things within our heart is cleansed, which, by the way, all the dirty things within our heart, that's actually the cause of all suffering. It means that's the cause of the suffering within ourselves, and it's also the cause of suffering in the world. So many dirty things in the heart. And we will be situated, we'll develop our faith more and more, we'll develop our attachment more and more, we'll develop our bhakti more and more, step by step. And this is important because this is important because what's life all about anyways? I mean, people think life is about so many things, but if people think, like people think life is just about material enjoyment or something, or just being a, beg, borrow, steal. You just got to somehow there get what you need to get to enjoy your senses. But generally that's the underlying mood behind this whole everybody in this world. But if that was such a wonderful plan, then why are so many people suffering? And even people who have it all, they're suffering. Of course, I don't sound too cliche or something, but people say this all the time. Oh, there's some big, important people, famous people, rich people. They're still suffering. But yeah, it's a fact. It's an important point actually, even though it's said so many times. They're subject to birth and death. Yeah. So this is important because it actually it's our nature. It works. It's what life's all about. Associating with pure devotees and becoming pure devotees, and then also once we have ourselves obtained some of the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then we want to distribute. That's a very important. That's a very important process of Krishna consciousness. That we get Krishna consciousness, and then we give it. So. And again, I said some ways in which we could do that. Okay, so we'll stop there. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Just a quick comment. This word, kashayam. Now, how is it translated here? The embellishment, right, of lusty desires? Yeah, lusty desire. I was interested in that because I thought kashayam means impurity or whatever. That's another thing, impurity or dirt. But we have mullam here. Mullam is the next word, which means dirt. So I said it's redundant. I'm looking up in the dictionary, and one of the meanings of kashayam is a dye, a red dye, like the dye that you see the Buddhists wear. Yeah. Like a little darker than different. So it's like this impurity of lust, which is a stain on your heart. It's hard to get it out. It takes a lot of effort to
takes a lot of washing.
to vidunoti, which literally means to cleanse.
Yeah.
Right? So there's so many dimensions to this verse.
That's nice.
But the power of devotee association, which includes hearing and chanting, which you'll mention in the next verse, can actually cleanse that out.
That's a good point. So what about this idea, dyed in the wool? Is that the same? Like an atheist dyed in the wool?
Yeah, dyed in the wool means it's really, really in there and it's not coming out.
But it's referring to like wool. Like
yeah, apparently when you dye wool, it's even harder to get out.
Very difficult to get out. Yeah, I mean,
dye remover.
I don't even know if you can get it out. It's like
probably
really,
can't. Yeah, dyed in the wool can't change.
Yeah, dyed in the wool. Because you see wool things. If you have like a wool chador, the thing never fades. I mean, you may wash it so many times and it just doesn't fade. The dye doesn't come out. Yeah. So we want to be dyed in the wool devotees, right? It means that people may try to convince us, the world may try to convince us, that's the business of this material world, is trying to convince us to give up Krishna, Maya, right? That's her business. Oh, give up Krishna, give up Krishna, give up Krishna. Right? I have better things for you, I have better plans for you. But we want to be dyed in the wool devotees that no, you can't, you cannot remove my attachment to Krishna no matter what. So that's what we want, right? It's like when I was first coming to the temple, Tirtha Maharaj, actually years after I joined the temple, he forwarded me an email that he sent. He was in India, this was 10 years ago. He sent an email, maybe 10 years plus. Yeah, 10 years plus. So he sent an email, he was in India, and he sent an email to Giriraj Gopal, while Giriraj Gopal was here in SanDiego as a brahmachari, Bhakta John. So he sent an email to Bhakta John and he said, hey, Hare Krishna Bhakti John, and hope you're doing well, this and that. I haven't had much internet connection here in Vrindavan, but I have some now, so I'm emailing you. And I want you to reach out to Bhakti Bronson. And he said that I want you to reach out to him before Maya fills up his schedule. Before, illusion, Maya fills up his schedule. So yeah, Maya has a bunch of plans, but we want to be dyed-in-the-wool devotees where we don't care about those plans. So.
The point you were making, I think, near the beginning of the class about having a problem associating with devotees because they're going to tell you what to do and so forth. Like
yeah.
That. The willingness and even more blessed is the desire to associate with devotees is a great fortune. And generally you see, because I've been around a long time, that some devotees, you see they're going, and then you find that you don't see them anymore because they're uncomfortable associating with devotees. Because oftentimes what's happened is when you blaspheme devotees, when you become too critical, that's the greatest offense. And from within the heart, the super soul, Krishna, is saying to you, yeah, you don't want to associate with them, because whatever reason you may come up with. They'll tell you what to do, or you may just feel uncomfortable,
Yeah.
So that's the disastrous result. That's one of the immediate disastrous results of being critical and criticizing especially pure devotees, is that you lose the ability. You think it's your own decision, but actually you're being inspired to avoid devotee association. And if you avoid devotee association, then you're open game for Maya. It's impossible to stay strong.
I like that, open game for Maya. Shoot you down. Yeah, in relation to that, what was I going to say? I'm forgetting. Huh? That's what you do? 31, yeah. Senior mom. Yeah, Maya shooting down, and what else? You're sorry.
The point is that what does Prabhupada do in his purport? The very first words he speaks.
Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. Now I remember.
The inspiration to associate is essential. I mean, that's what these temples are all about. Make it a facility. And when it may be difficult at first, you may feel some hesitancy, but after long association, if you start blaspheming or being irregular in your sadhana, you'll feel uncomfortable amongst devotees.
Yeah.
Even if no one is saying a word, you feel, oh, they're judging me, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's Krishna from within kicking you out.
Yeah. Yeah. So I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say that there's different offenses one could commit towards Vaishnavas. One is to blaspheme them. One is to kill a Vaishnav. Big offense. Like really, you really crossed the line on that one. Kill a Vaishnav, blaspheme a Vaishnav. But there's a few others. But one is not to be happy upon seeing a Vaishnav, which is an interesting idea. And I was hearing, and I was thinking about this, that why isn't somebody happy? Why wouldn't someone be happy when they see another person? Because before seeing that person, what's going on upstairs is that they're thinking, oh, that person's like, oh, he's just such a rascal, and he's this bad quality, that bad quality. They're thinking ill of that person. And then upon seeing the person, they're not happy because there's so much, going on upstairs. They're thinking negatively about that, so when they see them, they're not happy. Or another thing, and not just going on upstairs, is that what people like to do, right? They talk about the person. Oh yeah, you know about this person, not what they did, and this is how bad they are, right? And then when you see that Vaishnav, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be overjoyed to see that, because so much negativity has been going on before seeing. Whereas if you're thinking very positively of somebody, if you're talking very positively, like for example, let's say, okay, I'm using you as example, Glenn, all right, don't mind, but you'd say, oh yeah, Glenn, and he's such a good devotee and such a positive devotee, and this and that, and we're just glorifying him. We're thinking nicely about him, and we may say something nice about him. And then when he walks in the door, we say, "Oh, hey, there's Glenn. Hey, welcome, Glenn." You know. So that's there. So that's important to try to get into that mood of appreciating devotees. So, all right, Jamal had his long waiting question or comment.
I have 2 questions and a comment, but I probably won't get to the comment. Anyway, so the first one, the last sentence of this purport, Prabhupada says, is part of the sentence, "But once a person takes to the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord by devotional service, automatically all dirty things in the heart are removed without difficulty." So, the keyword being automatically. So maybe you could discuss this a little bit, because we see that in personal, speaking for myself anyway, you take to trying to surrender, take to devotional service on some level, but still the dirty things are still there, and it may take a long time to get rid of them. So what does this mean automatically?
Well, it says, like, sometimes what happens is that we surrender, right, to Krishna or to the spiritual master, but then we take it back. You know? So, like, we surrender in the morning to Krishna, like really surrendered, right, in the morning, and then later we're like, you know what, I don't really feel like surrendering to Krishna. I want to do my own thing. You know? I have my own plans, or Maya has her plans, right? So we take it back somehow or other. So yeah, if one surrenders to Krishna completely and stays like that, then yeah, the dirty things are gone. And you could say, oh, one, this idea of quickly going back to God or quickly attaining perfection, you could say in the span of time, right, Krishna consciousness is quick. It means that us going back to God, us becoming spiritually perfect, it is quick because it, how long we've been in this material world in terms of eternity, it is quick. So, and also another thing I was thinking is that it says that, like in, I think Ramchandra says that once a soul surrenders unto me, I always will protect that soul. It means that the soul, they may leave Krishna consciousness, they may take back their surrender, but he's saying he always has an eye on them. So, yeah. So if you're wondering why your material contamination from your heart is not going away quickly, then you should try to, they say, like, up your game. In modern parlance, postmodern parlance, up your game, which means there's cleansing process. Like, for example, you could take a pot and you could, like, kind of very slowly, gently, clean and take your time and maybe not do a very good job. Leave a bunch of food particles there. It's actually terrible. People do that, or you could really get into it. Right? Let's say, like, I don't know why they say this, but elbow grease, really scrub, right? Really scrub and make sure you get everything and a lot of energy. So that's what Krishna wants us to do. He wants us to really scrub our hearts. So, until we develop that desire, that strong desire, it may seem slow. But even if it's so-called slow, it's actually, progress is happening. But if we want more progress, then we have to put more energy. Up your game, yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, from my own experience.
So you have your second question?
So, yeah, I just want to... Oh, wait, okay. Oh, that's one question. So, you were discussing...
I mean, I don't mind. I could sit here for the next 2 hours. It doesn't bother me. But I feel that like in I don't know what that is. But they take like a hook and then they go like this. Yeah, from the stage they pull you off the stage. So I'm starting to feel that energy a little bit. So I don't mind sitting here. But So anyways, you could ask your Go for it. No, just the good old clock, you know. But anyways, you could ask your question.
Anyway, so you're discussing approaching Krishna through the devotees. So we see that, like with the jnanis, the yogis, they can't approach Krishna directly. They're not approaching Krishna directly. Even devotees who may be attracted to Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, they can't approach him directly by themselves. And even we see that in other religious traditions, like you need a savior or a messiah or a prophet or somebody. So what is this? Why is this the key element in developing a relationship with God or Krishna? Why can't you approach God directly?
All right, I get a very simple, hopefully good answer. But so Prabhupada said one time that he was talking with his disciple Tamal Krishna Das when he was a temple commander in Los Angeles, and he said, there's a big universe, and in that universe there are so many planets, and there's one planet, Earth planet. And on that Earth planet, there's so many continents, and there's one continent in America. And in America, there's so many states, and in one of those states is California. And in California, there's so many cities, and one of those cities is Los Angeles. And on Los Angeles, there's one street, one block called La Cienega. And on that street, there's so many buildings. And one of those buildings, it's a Hare Krishna temple. And in that Hare Krishna temple, there's one Tamal Krishna Das, and he's thinking himself very important. So in other words, by serving the Guru, by serving the Vaishnavas, we become humble. And that's important. Because, right, as the Bible says, good old Bible says, the humble, they shall see God. So how are you going to be humble? By going to God directly? You know, I'm so qualified I could go to God directly? No, you're not qualified. You have to become humble by serving devotees and the spiritual master, and then you'll become qualified. So, and then, well, maybe Javeda Prabhu we could end because it has to do with pride, you know. So Javeda Prabhu has this wonderful, about pride, the fall of the jiva, yeah. Because this has to do with serving the Guru, regaining humility, and giving up pride and all that, which is important.
All right. This will be the last.
So this is a positive
Then I got to go. I have an appointment. Glen's going to drive me. Where Krishna lives, felicity abounds with pure simplicity and loving sensibility. All serve him with humility. But when a living entity rejects his true identity and out of sheer stupidity surrenders to cupidity, he loses all sagacity and with it all capacity to understand reality or curb his sensuality. Abandoning humility, he touts his own ability, forgetting his fragility and fortune's volatility. Immersed in asininity for what seems an infinity of lives devoid of piety, he suffers in anxiety till contact with God's devotee, perhaps of utmost brevity, awakens his affinity for words of the divinity. Perceiving the futility of all his imbecility, the soul regains his sanity and casts away his vanity. Endowed with new humility, he serves with all ability and growing spontaneity his Guru and the deity. Regaining his identity, the wayward living entity returns to the fraternity of Krishna for eternity.
Okay.
And we're all on that reverse parabola somewhere, so...
They have those shirts like really long, like really small words, like really long. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's nice. All right. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.